All right, we were here with actor, singer, composer Jon Rua. We were both
Choreographer.
choreographer as well. That's the most important one at this point because I know
Yeah.
you're teaching at Broadway Dance Center.
Mhm.
But we're here at our alma mater, Rutgers University. We actually both are skills graduates, which
Yes.
is random. We were actually here at the same time and probably ran into each other a million
Yeah,
times. Didn't even know
totally.
it.
Right over here. Yeah. It's so well. I mean, there's a lot of people, but usually we run into the skills people usually run into each other.
Yeah, because we all have the same classes.
We probably have the same class.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your journey as a performer, since you're so multi-talented and you do so many different things.
Thank you.
Talk about when you first decided you wanted to do it professionally, and then,
Well, I think I was always interested in music, nonetheless. And in high school, I did some of the arts kind of as a thing that was something to do with my friends. Like I started in marching band and inadvertently fell into theater, and then my friend, inadvertently fell into dance. But it wasn't something I didn't know I was doing it. It's like, it wasn't of an interest. It was just something I did as a hobby. I didn't think it was like that's what I'm supposed to be doing or whatnot. So I went to school, I finished that, went to college at Rutgers University for public relations. And then it wasn't until like I was, I would dance around here. I remember my first talent show was at Rutgers University. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know how to dance.
not Dance Marathon, I hope.
No, it was like this thing called Step Into the Spotlight.
Okay.
And I won, but I choreographed to like Linkin Park's Points of Authority, which, who does that? And I didn't even know how to dance. I just kind of kept moving. I loved music. And so and eventually I started going to underground house dance conferences, and I started training dance with, eventually here a little bit with my friend Tom McKee, who actually might still teach at Rutgers University. But the whole thing is that basically once that all finished up, I didn't think I was going to be into performing arts. I got my degree in public relations. I was just doing this and that, and then I went backpacking in Europe like the summer right before I graduated. I did like 14 countries. I was doing everything, me and an ex-girlfriend of mine, and it was a great time. And I came back home and I didn't know exactly what I want to do, but once you backpack, I can do anything.
Right.
I don't have to do this or that. And ironically enough, I was in Turkey teaching dance, because at that point I was teaching dance, but as like a passive thing. It wasn't like I was a master of anything. I was just kind of teaching people who don't know how to step touch, because I had natural rhythm or whatever. And then I came into the city, and I went to this thing called Carnival, and it was like an underground choreographer's, well, it's not an underground thing, but for people who don't know, it's a choreographer's ball that happens biannually in New York, and it happens every month in LA. It's also international too. But anyway, I saw this one company, I was like, I can do that. And for me, I mean, that's like, well, I mean, now I go to Carnival, it's whatever it is, but I could do that. And so I was in interviews for PR jobs and financial analyst jobs at this place, Ameriprise Financial, and they offered me a position. I was like, okay. But the weekend before, I had auditioned for that dance company I saw at the Carnival, and then I got a phone call that I got in, and so I chose to do that instead of Ameriprise Financial, and I've been doing that ever since. I wasn't getting paid or anything. I was living in Jersey. I was driving back and forth. I still hadn't taken any dance classes. I was just training underground. At that point, I was familiar with singing and acting, but not really. Like, I didn't know the craft as much. I took some acting classes at Mason Gross. I understood that craft. And singing, I had background from doing like a local theater at the local show at the Forum Theater, and singing in high school here and there. But I really didn't know what I was doing. Just that natural ability. I didn't really have an idea of how to hone in the craft. After I got the Carnival, after I got in a company that was at Carnival, I pretty much started training with that company. Then I went to a dance audition for an agency called Clear Talent, and they'd said final callbacks, and they said no. And then I crashed an audition that all of their clients were at, and I booked it over all of their clients. And the choreographer calls the agency and goes, "Why aren't you working with such and such?" And then they call me like, "Oh my God, we hear so many amazing things about you." It's like, thanks. Appreciate that. So then they picked me up after the fact. And then after that, ironically enough, the agent wasn't giving me what I wanted. Like I said, I wanted to do musical theater. And they said they didn't see me in that light. And so then I went training and auditioning myself via backstage or word of mouth, and started getting involved with that.
And you were in the original cast of In the Heights. correct? And did you say that you were?
So what happened was when I was doing In the Heights, I joined it off Broadway, 37 Arts. I was a vacation swing for like a month probably a little over a month. And at the same time, I was dancing commercially for that company. I was in Puerto Rico with that company that I saw at Carnival. So we eventually started getting work. We started getting paid. And then I started working, dancing for some artists and dancing for like industrials and whatnot. And at the same time, In the Heights happened off Broadway. I mean, I didn't know. You know, I went in there audition. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Which is ironic because one of my great friends, who is a Rutgers alum, named Stephanie Clemens, was in the cast. But so I reached out to her and I was like, oh, you know, what do I do, this and that. I was just asking for too much information. She was like, you know, you just got to put the work in and figure it out. And eventually I went to the audition. It was with Andy Blankenbuehler and Michael Balderrama and Joey Dowling and at Telsey. And here's the interesting part. My agent didn't call me on it. I went in to audition for Rent for Telsey. And I think that they remembered me, perhaps, and they called me to come in for In the Heights off Broadway. And I went in, and then I think Andy, you know, they all liked me. And then apparently I started understudying. I went in for Tommy Kail, and they wanted me to understudy for Graffiti Pete, and they wanted me to understudy for Sonny. And all of a sudden I was doing the off-Broadway show. Then it transferred to Broadway. I, at that point, was still a vacation swing. And I got to be a part of the commercial. I was helping Andy out with some of the choreography for... At that point, I was choreographing a lot. So now I'm being a choreographer, and I was teaching a lot and doing a lot of routines. And I was doing that probably throughout the summer. And then Broadway happened. I auditioned various times for Broadway. I did not get to get in original cast. You know, but things all happen for a reason. Ironically enough, once that passed, I auditioned for Damn Yankees City Center Encores with Jake Krakowski and Sean Hayes, and I booked that, and I was doing that, which is interesting because it was all Fosse and like very theater jazz, and it was awesome. Then I was doing a reading with Robin DeJesus, who plays Sonny
from In the Heights,
and we were both in this show called Kingdom. And I get a phone call. I'm actually in auditions for Peep Show and In the Heights Broadway again. Finally, I was like, okay, I can't go in the Heights. I can't go anymore because I've gone in like 8 times. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Especially because I was leaving the country. I was in Colombia for a week. And then I get a phone call while I'm in Colombia saying, you know, they're offering me the swing position. And I was like, yeah. And so I did the swing position immediately. I came back. So it was a few months after, and I was so elated because at that point it was like they were doing the Tony Awards and they won, and I was just so I've never been so happy from a different place. Usually, like people are like, yeah, I can't do that,
right?
But I was literally jumping up in joy when they won, and I was so excited for them. And just because it wasn't the Tony Awards, it was the respect, the recognition, you know, and I got to be in the show. I started understudying swinging 6 ensemble tracks, and then they asked me to understudy with Snavi, Sonny, and Graffiti Pete. And then slowly but surely, as time progressed, I became Sonny, and then I became Graffiti Pete, and I understudied Usnavi throughout the time. Because I left in the middle of the show to go do a play at second stage, because swinging for me was no longer fun.
Yeah. And then you. Like you said, you also were teaching the choreography, and then you had the opportunity to open a musical that was short-lived, unfortunately, but lives on in a cast recording called Hands on Hardbody.
Yes.
Which you had a chance to act and
sing
and
dance.
Yeah.
And I got to help. I started working with Sergio Trujillo on that one, and Sergio, I love him very much. I feel like a camaraderie and a bond with him too, because I always joke around with a lot of my friends that I don't see many Colombians. My ethnicity is Colombian. I don't see many Colombians in the industry, and ironically enough, Sergio's Colombian. So we finally, our worlds collide because we heard of each other because all of my friends are his dancers or fellow assistants and whatnot. So we got to start. He started asking me to come in. I got to do some assistant work with him on that. I helped him on Flash Dance and starting to get involved with doing some other things. And but the beautiful thing about Hands on Hardbody is just, God, The dream, sure, Broadway, but it wasn't Broadway. It was the dream was to be a part of what that was.
Right.
And I was a part of it, and I was with amazing actor, singer, human beings, and amazing like music and creatives, and I got to be in that world, and we all respected each other so much, and kind of had a admiration for all of our abilities and humanity. And that's what the show was about, and everyone on the stage rose to the occasion. Everyone on the stage, there was no weak link, and I don't mean that in talent, I mean in everything. Everybody was so admirable. It was just an amazing experience to be next to these people and be able to be on the stage, on the truck, hours every day with each other, and know that we're all highly invested in this project. And eventually, whatever the cases may be, marketing or the economy, or the fact that, you know, if you notice, the shows that lasted this year were more fantastical or production, higher value numbers shows, and ours was pretty much a sincere, earnest, working class play with music, and it was really highly reviewed, and people really enjoyed it, but it didn't last.
One of the things I like about you is that you're so positive and upbeat still about the project. You know, we follow each other on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot, but you still have a connection with that cast, and even though it was only short-lived, it seems like you got so much out of it, and it was not a negative experience even in an early closing for you.
Yeah.
That you just kept, you know, you keep your head up and you keep trucking, and you just had choreographed Broadway Bears, which...
Yeah, Broadway Bears, I did that. This is my third year being involved with it. This year was different though, because I usually don't like to be in it. I mean, Broadway Bears is awesome. I personally like to keep my clothing on.
You can't steal the spotlight from me. I mean, I am the star of that.
No, it's just because I'm just like, you know, who knows? Maybe it's like, whatever. I don't know why though. But someone got injured before the last rehearsal, and so then I had to be in it, and it turned out to be great. I enjoyed it. It was an amazing experience. This year I choreographed the number Georgia. And I had Julius Carter as my lead, and James Brown was a feature, and everybody just did so many great. It was just, they really did really well, and I love Jerry Mitchell. I think that guy. There's just some people you just need to stand by, and you feel like you become a better person. And Jerry is one of those people, so I'll always help him out, and I love having the opportunity to work for it. So Broadway Bears was great, and recently. It was a lot of choreography actually, because after Hardbody finished, now we have the album. August 27th, go get the album. It's amazing. It really is, because we've heard some of the demo stuff, and it's amazing. And Hardbody's probably going to be touring or out of towning at some places here and there, and who knows if we're all going to be, you know, doing a sit down for a second and leave, whatever. But Hardbody was the reason I'm going back to it, because Hardbody was an experience that literally all transformed us into better human beings. And just because it was short-lived doesn't mean that we didn't accomplish what we came to do.
Right.
And everyone knows that. And everyone came and they saw it, and that was it. And the music will stand for itself. I mean, half the people don't see Broadway shows, they listen to the album, and they remember it forever.
Right.
So that being the case, the connections I made with all the Hardbody people was amazing. And I, you know, acting, singing, and having the opportunity to really do quality work. And I like to do plays. Hardbody was like that. So to have this experience with all these people, and now see them all go which ways. We just know that we're going to see each other along the way. It isn't like the trajectory has ended. Oh, the short-lived musical. If anything, it's like this is the beginning step for what all of us are going to do, and we'll see each other down the way.
Right.
And know that that was a vehicle for us that was beautiful and honorable. And so we move forward, and I can't wait to see Keala do her thing, and Keith and Hunter and Jay and Kathleen and Allison and Dale and all these people. They're all going to do amazing things. And I hope to work with them again. Chris Cusick, like now he's doing First Date. And it's just really, really amazing. Why I say this, because after Hardbody finished, I've been doing so much theater for so long that like I wanted to focus on my choreography as well. I've been really focusing on being an actor. So I'm doing the whole acting, dancing, singing, choreography thing. And I love it. It's hard because you have to really give yourself to it. So I gave myself a lot to acting. I did a play in San Diego a long period of time with Priscilla Lopez called Somewhere. Matthew Lopez wrote it. It was amazing. That's still in the works. That's why I didn't do Bring It On, because Bring It On I was a part of when I went out of town.
Right.
And then it went to Broadway. And I remember just going to Broadway and being like, wow, I was a part of that. I helped create that, and it's amazing. So why I'm saying that's because I passed up a lot of shows for the opportunity to move up as an actor. And so I did. But now my choreography, everyone's like, oh, Jon, you're always teaching. Where's your choreography agent? Don't even have one.
Right.
Because I couldn't focus on it as much as the other things. Once Hardbody finished, I did Broadway Bears, Nick Blameyer and The Hustle. I don't know if you know them.
I interviewed Nick for this.
I just choreographed his last music video. That's coming out in September. The Walla Walla Festival is something that happened in Washington, D.C. I just choreographed a piece with Laura Lataro. And now recently, I decided to really take steps forward with my dance company I call The Grit. And I'm getting donors and getting funding and raising funds for myself to put on a showcase in the fall of a 1-hour show of what I do. And focus on that while I'm still auditioning for shows. And yeah, I'm still auditioning for shows all the time. But this time, I enjoy the time going into the choreography world and teaching. I've been at Broadway Dance Center teaching religiously all the time.
What's that like for you to be a teacher when you've already established yourself on Broadway? What did the people ask you? And this could kind of be your advice portion of the interview. When you're there and, I don't know if people go in recognizing you that you've been on Broadway, or it's something that you tell them your credits when you sign up, but somebody going into your class may be intimidated by the fact that you were already up on a Broadway stage and you are so talented. I mean, I guess that would be true of any teacher. You wouldn't be teaching, but
I think only way I can say this is, it might sound weird, I kind of diffuse that very quickly because I'm a mess. I'm crazy in class. Like, they forget it because I'm with them. I think a lot of people do know, but a lot of people at Broadway Dance Center as well don't know. So there's a big variety of people. A lot of people who, I think that there may be a lot of people are intimidated with my work. This is what I've heard. Put that out there, because I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But that's because you're talented and you can do it.
Well, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I think it's just, I have a different type of drive. And that's kind of what's kind of got me where I am. Because I wasn't trained in a dance studio. Yes, I'm vocally trained. Yes, I took classes at acting classes in the city. Yes, I did some dance classes in the city. But I'm not trained. When I say I'm not technically trained, I mean I didn't do it from adolescence into college into such and such. And a lot of people didn't. That being the case, I have this constant insatiable drive. I find that when I teach a lot of people, they don't always have that. They kind of just want to feel successful for the moment.
That's not the right reason to be in it, right? And that's also, number one, not the right reason, but number two,
it derails you.
Yeah, because you're only focused on the prize and not the actual dancing.
Right,
you
right.
Focused on the dancing.
Right, so when they come in, yeah, they might be intimidated and they know, like, oh, I've done this and done that. Wow, what a well-rounded thing, or wow, he's... But I think what diffuses that really quickly is I'm in the midst of creating my own voice choreography. Of my own dance world, and I've been working on that. So they're really so focused on getting my work that I think that we completely push that other stuff to the side. Like in a dance studio, I tell them, I'm like, the only difference between me and you right now in this dance class is I made this dance. That's it.
Yeah.
So you come with me along the ride and we'll do this. I think after the fact, once they find out that I do other stuff, they're like, oh my God, I hate you. That's the first words people say, I hate you, you do stuff.
It could be the hair.
Yeah, maybe it's my hair. But that's why I think it depends. If I'm teaching like a Broadway classroom, if I'm teaching like a Broadway community thing, yeah, then it's like, oh, you've been on Broadway. But if I'm teaching like a commercial dance class like in Broadway Dance Center, they know I've done Broadway, they know I've done different stuff, but it's kind of like, who is this guy? How come he's choreographing hip hop to Mumford and Sons? Whoa, I don't understand. Do I like it, do I not? It's an interesting world. So it depends on the student, but very much so. They're always open, but you kind of
reel them in a little.
You have to reel them in because they're intimidated not by my credibility, but about my ability in choreography, and they don't want to feel like they can't do it. But they've been getting much better. Go on YouTube.com/Jon Rua 814. All there.
We will link that up to your interview. When
no, just because you'll see these kids and they're doing good and
is there a certain age level that you feel more comfortable teaching? And which one would that
The older
Yeah.
levels, like anywhere from 16 up, as long as they're intermediate advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind teaching younger dancers, but I think it's because my work is advanced, and I'm really looking for people who have an emotional depth to them, because that's what makes my movement kind of come to life in a different way. And so because I'm focused on that right now, those are the type of people I'm looking into, not so much people who don't have familiarity with their body or their emotional range.
Now, quickly tell us what's next for you. I know you're going away in August on tour, and then when you get back, what will you be working on?
I'm leaving. Sorry for the dirty knee. Surgery and band-aids.
Another hazard of dancing.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this actually leads me to where my next job is. I'm going to the Muni to do West Side Story. I'm playing Chino on West Side Story. I'm leaving this Wednesday, and I come back mid-August. Then I have my birthday. Dun, dun, dun. I turn a certain age, and then I teach at Broadway Dance Center. And when I return, I think I'm listed to go to Spain to teach for a week. But I'm not sure. It depends on. In 2 weeks we find out for sure.
Right.
The clientele that comes in, and I'm going in for a musical. There are some opportunities that if I book, will be in the fall. If I don't, as of now, it's pretty much working on my showcase and singing at certain events, or going in for tapings and castings until something pops. But right now I know I'm doing a Muni, and I'll teach in Spain, teaching at Broadway Dance Center.
And Hands on a Hardbody is coming out on the 27th.
August 27th.
So you'll be back in the city for that, so I'm sure you'll be doing some promotion.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. We thought about that. I asked Amanda Green and Trey Anastasio, the composer and lyricist of the show, the composers and lyricists of the show. And I asked, I was like, what are they going to do? They were thinking about, why not just do it? I mean, it all depends on...
They do signings at Barnes & Noble all the time.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the producers, or like whoever produced the album. But I think there were Trey's on it too, so I mean... I don't see why not. I can't see why there wouldn't be signings, especially with the fact that it was nominated for Best Score. Kayala was there, Keith was there. If they bring some people out, I'm sure we can go in there and sing If I Had a Truck, or sing like Joy of the Lord, some big number, and I have a great feeling that that people would come out and promote the album. But other than that, I would hope so.
You're just excited for it to come out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just want the world to be able to hear great music and authentic. It's an authentic story and real emotional life, and I think it's really nice.
Well, Jon, we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us for this interview. We look forward to the cast recording coming out at the end of August. Maybe we'll revisit, see what you're up to then at the time of the recording.
Hopefully something at that point will have popped, because there's certain things that are happening right now, but it varies of what's going to happen. But yeah, and if I could give the link to YouTube later if they're interested.
I will. Yeah, you want to give the link? We will actually post it on the.
Oh, perfect.
When we tweet out the interview.
Perfect.
So that is perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet up with us.
Sure. Thank you very much.